Ever notice there's a Cold War afoot? Right under our noses. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Of course, I'm talking about low-cymbal drummers versus high-cymbal drummers. Why? What did you think I was talking about? More than just a way of setting up your drums, low cymbals or high cymbals have become a statement about who you are, a lifestyle. If I know how you set up your cymbals, I can probably tell important things about your food choices, fashion choices, recreational substance preferences, and whether or not you're employed. And I shouldn't be able to. Anyway, today we'll break it down. Not just the low cymbals and high cymbals ethos and attitude, but also which setup you might want to choose, and advantages and disadvantages to each. In fact, we're going to cover so much, there's literally only one thing we're not going to cover, and that's the low commitment, poser, tourist, middle of the roaders, known as medium cymbal height people.
Pack it in and get in that bin.
Get in the bin. Anyway, stay tuned. Today's video is brought to you by me, the 80/20 drummer, and if you've been watching for a hot second, every time I do a rant video, people are like, how come you don't do any lesson videos, even though I do like 9 out of 10 lesson videos, but check any of my other videos. But if you're one of those who's been watching for a hot second, you feel like you might be ready to study with me, I recommend my course, the 80/20 coaching course, which is like 3 to 6 months of studying with me, all for around the price of a single lesson. Much more information if you click the link below the player, and you can get on the free insiders list. It's completely free to join, and we only launch the course to that list. Okay, sponsor message over. Low cymbal vibes. I think of Eric Harland in the early 2000s. Damian Reed, Jonathan Blake. Low cymballers are iconoclasts and first principles thinkers. They have the open-mindedness and the gumption to question the way the drum kit has always been set up. And also to feel like they want to tower over the entire kit like a king on a hilltop castle, surveying their territories. Oh, is this a tom-tom? What have we here? I feel like the extreme low symbology was invented primarily by jazzers in the early aughts. I associate low cymbalers with classic fashion, fine wine, and international tastes, which might just be because I'm thinking of Eric Harland again. The first thing you notice with low cymbals is the distance between things is really small. The entire kit feels like a toy, which gives you a feeling of dominion. The low cymbals kit is an immediate fit for acoustic jazz, where volume levels are low and you're playing off the drums and cymbals. It's also because you can't really have low toms and cymbals with a big kick drum. I mean, I've cheated here by having the rack tom off to the side, because the rack toms, if they're mounted to the kick drum, are going to have a certain height. So a big part of the low cymbal movement was probably jazzers taking advantage of the greater flexibility the shorter kick drum allowed them. It's a little bit insurgent too, like if I was inventing this kit from scratch, why would I put everything at eye level? It's probably also an artifact of the way jazz drums are recorded. For rock, metal, or any amplified music, an engineer wants to mix the cymbals, toms, and kick drum independently. And the farther away in space they are, the easier to get isolation. But in an acoustic jazz environment, you might have one kick mic and then 2 overheads, and that's it. So if everything's a similar distance away from the mics, it's easier to record. I'm not sure you'd really want to play really loud drums or drums tuned really low, or anything that needs a super clean attack like metal on a low cymbal setup. When everything's so close together, it also doesn't inspire a lot of big arm movements. Everything's kind of bippity-bip. Until you occasionally dig in. Finally, when you're towering over a cymbal, sure, you can dominate it, bend it to your will, but it's a lot harder to hit side on for that thick, washy sound. In fact, a lot of low cymbalers will hit the far side of their cymbals when they're going for this effect. So, Could I be a low-cymbaler? Well, I played jazz, so I've got that going. I also quite like the feeling of regal domination. But I'm not very well dressed, and I've never been to the continent of Europe. I know. In fact, I'm only going for the first time this year. And while I have good taste in wine, I'm not very well dressed. Did I already say that? My entire look is basically how could I wear pajamas in real life, which is not very low cymbals. So, would the low-cymbaler club have me as a member? Probably not. But there's another cymbal tradition. One inspired by Tony Williams, Vinny, and many of the fusion stars of the 80s. It's iconoclastic and retro, and it's also become kind of slacker core. I'll explain. Of course, I'm talking about high-cymbal life. High cymbals aren't new. Art Blakey, Tony Williams, Peter Erskine, Simon Phillips, Al Foster, but a number of modern drummers are adopting the high-cymbal life now. Among them, Marcus Gilmore, and the guy who arguably invented the low-cymbal movement, but who's always ahead of the trend, one Mr. Eric Harland. High cymbals have also become something of an Instagram meme. Because why not? Everybody needs something to do, right? So let's look at what it's like to play with high cymbals. If low cymbals let you tower over the kit, high cymbals let you be surrounded by the kit, within the kit, one with the kit. It also has a feeling of humility, like you're saying to the kit, I'm not better than you. The cymbals sound louder when you're at eye level with them. And there's greater separation, so it's a better setup for close miking. To play a high cymbal kit, the difference between the surfaces is more, so it feels more physical. Because your limbs have to travel a greater distance. It also inspires different types of playing. I tend to think of Nate Wood idioms a lot. There's a certain airiness and space in your playing just because of the distance your limbs have to cover. And since you're at eye level with the cymbal, you can also play them at different angles, with the tip and also on the shoulder. When you're playing jazz, I find it easier to keep your arm and shoulder in a relaxed position. You're also not fighting gravity as much with the rebound, because the stick is rebounding more on the lateral plane and less up and down. Finally, because the cymbals are up by your ears, you do need to be more careful about hearing protection. High cymbalers come in all types, but high cymbalers on the internet tend to be kind of iconoclastic counterculture types. You want to wear pajamas during the day? Okay with high cymbalers. You want to eat Chipotle every day? You want to play cracked cymbals intentionally because you're too lazy to replace the house cymbals? You want to play a snare drum like it's a cymbal? High cymbalers will accept you. So for this video, I'm gonna have to throw my lot in with the high... Wait! You forgot one group! Excuse me? I was just saying... No! You can't leave without talking about this other group. What other group could there possibly be? We've covered both extremes of the cymbal continuum. It defies logic. Nope, no. Once I say, you're gonna realize you were wrong and you're gonna apologize. Well, I don't know about you're gonna realize you were wrong and you're gonna apologize. Ready? Stackers.
This is a very unusual recording.
First, I pop, freak all the hundreds.
Drums with low cymbals, window, drums, demo. Where volume levels are low, where volume levels are low, where volume levels are low, where volume levels are low. Go to drums. Cool. I'm gonna leave him set up like this just to f with the landlord. I can rock it, really, really rock it.